Hey, 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 everyone. Happy Sunday. It is April 27th. We are cruising through the year so far. Tonight we're gonna keep it light, just a little bit of girl talk and just some opinions. I want to get your take on some things. We have discussed this topic before in the past, and I just want to see if anything has changed, if anyone's ideas have changed, if their minds have changed, or is this the direction in which we are headed? But before we get into it, let me just do a quick check-in and see how you're doing today.
I'm doing great. I can't complain. Everything is good for me on my end.
All right, all right, all right, all right. That's good to know. So, tonight we're going to talk about being single and dating in the era of social media, dating with the number of apps that are out there. Man, when I was doing my research and I was looking up stuff, I've seen dating sites that I did not even know were in existence. Okay. I know about Match.com. I know about eHarmony. I know about Hinge. I know about Christian Mingle. But there's some others out here that I just did not know about, and I just really wanted to kind of have a conversation and talking about it with you. And the first question I have, oh, and of course Tinder. What do you think of using social media or dating apps to find a potential romantic relationship with someone? I know that a lot of people use Facebook and a lot of people use Instagram and TikTok and Snapchat, and they post their cute little stories about how they met on there and it grew from there and now they together and yada yada yada. But what's your take on that? How do you feel? Are you an old fashioned, I'm gonna say old fashioned, old school? Are you from the time in which we did not have social media and you had to actually get asked out by somebody or had to have a little crush on someone or they had to have a crush on you? Or are you all about swiping right these days?
Well, I'm going to put it like this. I think it's still possible to find true love online. That's never was none of my thing. Like everybody I have dated practically was face to face. So I mean, I had encounter with online before. However,
Mhm.
I feel like online dating have expanded your possibilities and can expand, meaningful connections, whether that is like having, a partner, your friend, a friends,
Yep.
business partners. It can expand your relationships with people versus your own little circle.
Right.
Um, so I'm not saying it's like the worst thing because it happens.
Right.
Um, I feel like a successful relationship is going to come from your level of commitment, communication, and understanding that you have with your person. Um, you know, online is just the meeting basic part of things. Now, if you're actually just having an online relationship, that's kind of weird to me. So,
Yes.
uh, I would
The-
never, yeah, I don't think I could ever do that. Just because you want to be able to. spend time with that person. Now,
Right.
I know some people who actually feel um, strictly that only do it strictly online dating. I know some people now. And the reasons I have gotten was because it's better that way because they don't feel so much committed to that person. Or,
Interesting.
yeah, or they have told me like they don't want to deal with um, who are you with? Are you with somebody else? Are you cheating? So they keep that platonic online relationship just to have don't have those kind. So they won't have those kind of issues.
Gotcha. So
Um,
they have conversations, they talk, obviously,
right,
maybe there's some exchange of gifts, like maybe sending somebody some flowers or, something like that, and what have you. But they don't have, their relationship is not gone to the level of which, you're spending the night at each other's house and you have to worry about, was somebody else here before me? Is somebody going to be here after me? Because
right,
you haven't taken your relationship to that level.
right.
So
And
you're,
they rather keep it platonic. Am I saying the correct word right?
yeah, yeah, you're saying it
Okay.
correct.
Okay. Excuse me, y'all. I'm just trying to make sure. Uh, yeah. So they just keep it like that because they don't want the relationship to get serious, basically. So it says. I was like, well, what's the point of just talking to that person? I've asked questions, and
Right.
not spending a lot of time with them and stuff like that. They was like, I love it this way.
Wow.
And it's like on the internet, you can basically talk to people. Y'all can be in a relationship and everything, and make each other feel good about the
Right.
words that you're saying.
Right.
And I don't know why, but a lot of people have that missing in their life. That they just want somebody to talk nice to them.
Right.
And that's not a really hard thing when you're doing it online.
Right. I would agree with you with what you're saying. It's not hard to put your best foot forward when you're in an online relationship with someone versus
Mhm.
someone that you have to see every day, or you have to come home to, or they have to come home to you, or you're at their spot a couple days during the week, or they're at your spot a couple days during the week. I mean, things look different and they have a different kind of vibe when you're taking it to a different kind of level. So, keeping it platonic and keeping those things, from entering into your relationship, I mean, it sounds like it's safe.
Because
It
if you
sounds
think
like it's
about it,
secure.
if you think about it, that's what most people need.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's somebody talking in your ear, practically telling you everything that you want to hear, basically. Because they don't really have to do any actions because you're just online with them. You get it?
Right, right, right. And you're just listening to them, filling your ears up with all the right things and putting a smile on your face from hearing all the right things. So, yeah, you're going to go into work the next day with the same kind of glow as the girl that had her man over the night before. You know
Look,
what I'm saying?
you're
Like,
gonna
it's
go to
just,
work. You're gonna go to work with the same glow as the
yep,
girl who just met the dude down the street,
yep.
and he seems to be uh, what is it? A Prince Charming
Prince Charming, that's right.
for like the first 3 months, and then boom.
Boom.
You know, it's
Boom.
because, of course, like I told y'all before, and I mean, this is not like I'm not lying. Like, and everybody should know this. The first time that you're meeting a person, everything is going to be good.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Whether it's online, whether it's face to face. Yes, face to face seems to be more real and more, authentic. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, you're always gonna have that, dating period where it's gonna be like roses, fireworks. And then after a period of time that you get to know a person is when you really got to determine, hey, do I want to move forward with this person because now I see flaws.
Right.
Now I can smell them.
Right.
Um, but let me say this because online going to a different going to something else. Some platforms I've learned that would use your algorithm.
Yes.
And
Yes, that's I'm glad you said that. That is exactly what I was going to say,
I
is
was
that
like, oh shit.
it is using your algorithm to help you come up with the best matches possible. And that's just not for one or two dating sites. This is for all of the dating sites looking at your
And no, and
algorithm.
not only dating sites, but social media.
Social media,
So
yep.
they'll find people who have your same values and like kind of your compatibility that you do online, and they'll try to match you with that person. Like, yeah, they will. And I was like, that has to be fake because, and the reason I say that is because most of the time when people are posting online, it's just not 100% true. You know,
Exactly.
it's like we post things online and it may look like we're living the bombest life,
Right.
but no, it's not. It's not even like that.
No.
So, because nobody who, well, I know I don't want to post no online post of me crying
Right.
or, you know what I'm saying? Or me looking how I really look when I go to the store. So, yeah, like, always try to post nice pictures online.
Mhm.
And, I just feel like I'm not saying it's like, I'm just saying it's not authentic to be basing people matches in algorithms
Mhm.
or like taking compatibility tests.
Right.
I just don't feel like that's genuine.
No.
And I, uh, yeah, that really can mess you up. So, like I said before, like meeting online is fine to me. But of course, you should follow up with that person in real life because, like, it's just social media, guys.
It is. It completely is social media, and as far as the apps and everything are going, you don't even have to sign up or sign on to different apps. Just the exact social media that you're using is going to use your algorithm, and it's going to suggest people for you to follow. It's going to suggest people that you might be interested in. It's going to make those suggestions for you. Why do you think people are getting so many messages in their DMs from people that they never heard from before, that they've never seen, like a picture, like a photograph, like a nothing? Because the algorithm has suggested it. The algorithm
But
is
then you start hearing about this. Have you ever started hearing about a person's life and you be like, wait the minute.
right.
Wait the effing minute. Why they stories sound like mine?
Hmm. Right.
I be yeah, that's some social media tricks.
Hmm.
Online is scary just because we know that there are cycles out there. on the internet too. So just be cautious, use safety. You have to be very vigilant when you're meeting people online, especially if you're trying to build a family, build a life with them, because once you let them in, it may be hard to get them out.
Mm-hmm.
So you just need to be careful.
You do. You definitely need to be careful. And the other thing that I was going to say is that, especially in this day and age, you really need to be careful. There's a lot of stories that I've seen posted on social media, posted on YouTube about, famous content creators, TikTok creators, Instagram creators, people that collaborate on YouTube, getting together, dating, being in these relationships, and now these people are like coming out and they're talking about how they were emotionally abused, they were physically abused. There was different kinds of assaults, different SA going on in the relationship, and now they feel strong enough to come out and like tell their followers and to tell their people about that situation. So just because somebody looks good on their, internet profile, and they seem like they got the background that you want, and they look how you want them to look, and they talk how you want them to talk, and they're speaking all the languages that, seem to melt your little heart away, doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good person just because they look great online and on their profile and they got X many of thousands of followers and blah, 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 this, that, and the third, and all those other things. I, on the other hand, I don't disagree with online dating. I don't think that there's a problem with it as long as you do the things that we've talked about. You're careful, you use precautions. I mean, if I'm gonna meet somebody for a blind date, I need a backup. I need somebody to be at that restaurant over in the other corner, by my side. I need someone to know when I send the signal to call my phone to tell me that I got an emergency and I gotta go. I need that because I don't want to be in no situation where I wind up in the trunk of somebody's car. Okay. I am severely, severely worried about that. But all jokes aside, I think that, if you take the time to get to know somebody and you have those conversations with them, whether you are spending that physical time together as much as you are spending that time together communicating, I think the communication is the biggest piece of the puzzle that's right there, because you could be in the same house as somebody, in the same room as somebody, within the same household, and the two of you can just be going about your own day. You live in your life, they live in their life. Y'all not talking, y'all not having conversations, y'all not spending time together. But the person that you chit chatting with online, they calling you, hey babe, how's your day? What do you have going on? What are you up to? What are you doing? They're doing the things and they're checking in on you that, not are not doing and have not done. Oh, okay. I was like, where did she go? I didn't see her for a minute.
Someone called me, so it knocked me off. But
I got you. I
um,
got you.
I keep telling them about calling me while I'm on the podcast.
Hmm.
But yes, I was gonna say, um, a lot of people that date online, and I'm not gonna say everybody because everybody is not the same. I know some of us just like to try new things. But some of the people that date online are kind of afraid to date in the real world because they may be creepy. You
Hmm.
know, they may have flaws that people question, and they may have a hard time dating in real life,
That's
like,
true.
face to face. So,
Yeah, that's true.
um, yeah, so it's real out there. Don't think, everybody online is normal because that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely not. And some people are just shy. Some people just don't have it in them to carry on those face-to-face conversations. They need the icebreakers of being able to talk, on the computer or talk on the phone or things like that, and then graduate to FaceTime before they can, get their confidence level up and, be in a position in which they.
that's what I was gonna say, confidence level, because some people
Mm-hmm.
rather date online too because they don't feel like they're attractive.
Right.
So they
Right.
rather talk to somebody online and that makes them feel good. You know what
Yep.
I'm saying?
Yep.
Because probably they have a hard time getting a girlfriend or boyfriend in real life.
Right, right. And they probably feel less judged, by someone online than someone that's in, real life and joking about, how his haircut is or, what kind of clothes he's wearing or, what kind of car he drives. None of those things which are, important at the end of the day when you take into account what really matters, in a relationship and things like that. You can always take somebody shopping. You can always give somebody tips on how to do things different for themselves to help improve their confidence without putting them down and putting them in a negative space. You can always be helpful in that regard. But I had to stop and I had to ask my question and I had to think about it. So my parents have been divorced for, oh my gosh, probably close to 30 years at this point that they've been divorced.
Hmm.
My dad remarried within a year of the divorce. So he's been remarried for, I guess, 29 years now at this point. My mom, she reconnected with her old high school sweetheart. So he was the football player. She was, the smart girl, and she would help him, study and tutor and stuff like that. And they rebuilt their connection. They got, back together. They lived together and everything, and had a beautiful relationship, but neither one of them was interested in going down the path to marriage again because they felt like they wanted to take the Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn book of here we feel how we feel about marriage, and apply that to themselves. But now, this man, rest his soul, he has since passed away. He's passed on. It's been some years, and I'm like, Mom, like, aren't you lonely? Like, don't you want a companion? Like, want someone to go places with and do things with and all of that? And she was like, Nope, I'm good. I'm totally good. She's like, I've got my sorority sisters, I've got you girls, I've got my grandkids. I have a very full life. I have a very happy life. A man does not complete me. He does not complete who I am as a person, and does not make me feel any happier than I already feel right now. If I want to get up and go out and go to a movie, I'll get up and I'll go out and I'll go to a movie. If I can't go with a friend, then I'll take myself. And I'm like, look at you. I was like, so no match for you, no dating at our age, no our time, no none of that. She was like, no ma'am. No ma'am.
And some people are good. Like, they don't need to do that. Like,
Yep.
I feel like some people, they don't have to date. Like, they're
Mhm.
good.
Yep. She's one of them. She is one of them. I
I
was
be
like,
like, well, I don't be saying, I don't see like, maybe they already got everything they want in life, and it's probably much fulfilling to them. So
yep.
they don't have to go out there and get a companion.
Yep. Yep, I agree. And,
Yeah.
and I say more power to you because, I don't think that it's healthy for you to get in a relationship because you have a fear of being by yourself. Some people
Mm-hmm.
can't be alone. Some people just cannot be by themselves. And so they jump from relationship to relationship to relationship to relationship because they can't be by themselves. And I think that that's a huge mistake as well. They get on all these dating apps, they get multiple dating apps going on. They got a date at noon, they got a date at 3 o'clock, they got a date at 7:30, and they got someone that they're meeting for a drink at 11. So that's just way too much for me.
I have someone that I know that he said that because I asked him, I said, no girlfriend, no nothing, no friends. He was like,
Right.
oh no, I'm too selfish.
Oh, wow.
See what I'm saying?
Well, at least he's honest, with admitting that, as
Mm-hmm.
opposed to having somebody in his life having to find out the hard way,
Mm-hmm.
the things that he considers selfish. And maybe it's not necessarily selfish in the way that we're thinking about. Maybe he just is making a decision to put himself first, before all other BS. And so, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. If you're trying to eliminate the headaches and the hassles in your life by doing the things that make you feel the happiest, then good for you. I
Don't
say
get me wrong, a
applause,
companion
applause.
is great. I mean, I love companionship.
Yep,
You know, I feel like I'm one of those people that want to share my time, want to share my love,
right.
want to share my space. I want
Yes,
to share my world with you.
yes,
So I am one of those people.
yep.
So I cherish companionship. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but what I won't do is let no one take advantage of me
Right. Yeah,
because I am a giving person.
right.
So, I want you to feel the same way about me. I
Exactly.
don't want just for me to be sharing all these beautiful things with you and the love is not felt on the other end. So,
Right.
I don't want anyone to be with me if they don't want to be with me.
Exactly. If I don't make you happy, if I'm not what you want, then, feel free to let me go. We'll let each other go. And I respect that. I'd rather respect the fact that you've come to that decision no matter how many years that we've been together, even if it's been 15, 16, 17 years. I'd rather you come to that decision now than come to that decision, 35 years from now when I'm past my prime and I can barely do anything except, go to, the early bird special at the local diner. You know what I'm saying? My parents had 20 something years of marriage under their belt, and all of a sudden, they're getting a divorce, and everybody was like, why? Like, we thought y'all was like the greatest couple, and we thought y'all was so happy. And my mom was like, I was miserable the entire time. And I was like, I knew it. I knew it. I knew there was just something different. There was just something different. And that different thing that you had about you back then, you don't have that now. You're so much lighter. You're funnier. You crack jokes. You see the humor in things. You're a different person. So when you're not with the right one, you're better off being by yourself. So there's
And
no
I
date.
feel like the older you get in a relationship, the more fun you should have.
Exactly.
And you want to know
Exactly.
why? Because you need that to survive.
You do.
And if you're only going to be there to make the other person miserable and not care about them and not think about their health and everything else, then you don't need to be there.
Exactly.
Because I feel like the older you get with a person, the more joy you should bring to their life.
That's right. That's right. We too old at this point to not be receiving all the joys in the world that we deserve.
Right, because
We
that's what you need.
We need that. We need that. We work too hard. We got too much going on. Life is crazy. China's taking over. I don't know what's happening next. People are fleeing to the Canadian border. Girl, we got to find all the joy we can possibly find
Exactly.
and have us a good old time
Exactly.
before the end of days. So that's all I had to say about online dating and the pros, the cons, the different situations and scenarios. You guys just make the decision that works best for you. And if that's what you want to do, if that's your thing, go ahead and swipe right. If in person is your thing, then you wait to meet that man over some oranges in the supermarket, or while you at the farmers market and you picking out your vegetables that you gonna make for your Sunday dinner, or however you meet your people these days. But I definitely don't think I'll meet nobody in no club anytime soon. I think those days are gone.
Well, if you meet someone in the club, at least you know y'all both love to party. Anyways, I'm going with that one.
All right, y'all, we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.